Well, you've got, for the first time in recorded history, you have all the major central banks in the world printing money at the same time. So the world's floating around on a huge artificial lake of liquidity. It's got to go somewhere, and most of it's going into markets. The world economies are not getting so much better, but the markets are certainly much better. Everybody, nearly everybody, because of all this money printing. Well, no, of course, if and when the Federal Reserve stops or even slows down printing money, it's going to have a moderating effect on markets, because that's where most of the money has gone, and especially if other central banks also slow down. I don't think the Japanese would slow down, but maybe the English or maybe the Europeans would. When it happens, if it happens, I should say, it's going to moderate many markets around the world. But I want to remind you, I'm not sure it's going to happen, because even if it does happen, well, first of all, Bernanke's not going to do it while he's here, because he doesn't want to go out with an egg on his face. And then Mrs. Yellen's coming in. I doubt if she's going to do it at first anyway. A, she's keen on printing money, and B, she knows, well, I hope she knows what will happen when they start slowing down. So she's not going to do it anytime soon. And if they do start slowing down, the markets are going to react, and I would suspect that they will panic and come back in and say, oh, we're sorry. So I don't really see much tapering anytime soon, if ever. Well, not if ever, it's a long time. The market eventually will force them to cut back. Eventually the market's going to say, we don't want this garbage paper anymore. We don't want to play this game anymore. And then the market will force central banks to stop printing all this money. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. I'm not buying gold. I own gold. I've owned gold for many years. Part of the reason that I'm not buying now, gold went up 12 years in a row, which is extremely unusual for any asset. I don't know of any in history that's done that. It went up 12 years in a row without a decline. So I suspect that the consolidation, the correction in the gold market, is going to be somewhat of an anomaly as well, because since the rise, the 12-year rise was, and of course, you know, India's doing its best to kill the gold market. They're trying to make sure that Indians don't buy any more gold, don't import any more gold. They're trying to figure out a way to make Indians sell gold. So while the Indian politicians are fooling around with the gold market, it's another reason that I'm not buying. If it goes down to under 1,000, I hope I'm smart enough to buy a lot more. Yes, I'd rather buy base metals now than gold, for instance. I mentioned gold. I'll tell you my reasons for not buying gold at the moment. But base metals are down substantially. There is all this money printing, and some of it's working its way into the economy. Some of that money will go into base metals as a way to protect ourselves against inflation. So against inflation and currency debasement. So yes, I would much rather buy base metals than precious metals.